I know it's quite often that I react to other people's brawler concepts, but I have made a couple myself, but I've never went this far with them. Today, I made a full Frank rework spreadsheet. I have visuals of most things, and I just think that it's pretty cool. It was basically confirmed that Frank is actually getting a rework in the next update, and that's why I did this. Frank, who is the game lead of Brawl Stars at a showdown in Starfield event, I'm not sure what that is, but he confirmed there that Frank is getting a rework in the next update. So that's where this is coming from. And if you don't subscribe in the next 5 seconds, I will change fate so then Frank never gets a rework. So do it now. And now let's get into my rework. There's like 6 or 7 pages of this thing, and I basically go through all of his star powers, all of his gadgets, and his base kit a little bit. Because one thing that they don't really like to do when they rework a brawler is change the fundamentals of them. So my idea here is I'm gonna keep Frank's attack the same, I'm gonna keep his playstyle the same, but I'm just gonna make him feel like a newer brawler because he's outdated, and a lot of older brawlers are also really outdated compared to how special all these new brawlers are. So the first thing that I'm gonna do to Frank is I'm going to give him a bar, like the home run bar, but this is more specifically like Shelly's Band-Aid bar or Fang's Divine Souls star power bar, where it goes up over time no matter what you're doing. Right here, I say it takes 10 seconds to fill, but I actually made a visual of how long it could take because I'm not sure like what numbers would be balanced here, but this is just my concept. So here's a video of how fast I would think it would go up without the star power, which we'll get into the star power later, but right here, it's like roughly 8 seconds that it takes the bar to go up. That might be too much, it might be too little, who knows? We can't play test this. And let's be real, it's probably never gonna come, but a guy can hope that this would make it into the game, all right? What this bar would do, once it's full, the next time you get hit by something that would stun you, push you, pull you, throw you, anything like that, like a Gale super, Shelly super, Jean pull. I'm even considering something like a Spike super or even like a Lou super, something like that, because of what I added to this. So I made a visual of this as well, and it might be a little hard to read because of how bad I am at this, but on the bottom it says can't be CC'd, which CC means anything that stuns you, slows you, throws you, pulls you, anything like that. That's what crowd control is. So here, Frank gets supered by Gale, and then the bar goes down over 1.5 seconds. So for that 1.5 second window, you're immune to all CC. And then while the bar is coming back, you're completely vulnerable to anything that might toss you around. I thought this would be a better idea than just like negating one thing in case like 2 people blow their crowd controls at you at the same time. With this, you'll tank both of them because you have that 1.5 second window of invulnerability. And again, these numbers can be changed, but like this is just on paper what I think would be useful for him. I think this is my proudest rework moment. I believe that this will be really fun, and it seems realistic for the game. Nobody has this yet, but sometimes brawlers get unique stuff like this. And this is in his base kit, so he can be useful in this way without needing to rely on a star power or a gadget, because right now his only crowd control reduction is from a gadget, which is lame. Moving on to star powers. So I would just remove the sponge star power because this was one of their ways of just giving Frank more health, and he does not need that. He just needs to be a fundamentally better brawler, and that's what I'm trying to do here with these changes. So I would replace this star power with a star power that makes his bar come back faster. And yep, I made visuals of this as well. So without the bar, it would take about 8 seconds, and I know the bar is scuffed. I did my best, all right? But this is about how long it would take without the star power equipped. It's a pretty long time, but it could be longer. I'm not sure what would be good and what would be bad here. But now here's an example of it with the star power. It's roughly 5 seconds, so it would shave 3 seconds off the original time. Again, maybe that's too fast, but I also made his other star power pretty good, so I wanted this one to be something that could compete with it pretty well. So that was the first star power, but now we have the second one, the power grab star power. I didn't want to completely change this one because I actually like it. However, I did rework it quite a bit. So right now, anytime you get a kill, you get a 50% damage boost for 12 seconds. That is the star power as it is right now, which is so crazy to me. However, if we're making Frank a better brawler in general, instead I decided to give him like a mini Ash rage mechanic. Instead of straight up copying the rage, I'm just tweaking it a little bit. Every time you hit an enemy for 6 seconds, you get 1 stack of a boost of speed and damage. So let's say I hit an enemy 1 time. I have 5% extra speed and 10% extra damage for 6 seconds. I hit the same person again within that 6-second window. It goes back to 6 seconds, but now my speed boost is 10% and now my damage boost is 20%. I hit somebody for the 3rd time. The timer goes back up to 6 seconds, but now my speed boost is 15% and my damage boost is 30%. So it's just like a mini rage mechanic where the more aggro you're going, the higher your stacks get, but they cap at 3 because it would be broken if it went any higher. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Like if you hit somebody once, you got 5% speed, hit somebody twice, you got 10% speed, hit somebody 3 times, you got 15, so you can kind of run around and use that. I guess it's 7 seconds I put here, not 6. So it's a smaller window, but you don't have to kill somebody, and it's not straight up 50% more damage. And the reason why I decided to make it pretty powerful is because Frank sucks. Like, this brawler is horrible, so I'd rather make it strong at first than nerf it later, instead of just having him still be bad. Moving on though, we have the first gadget rework, which is the stun reduction gadget. This is the one where when you press it for like 3 seconds, you can't be crowd controlled. And I'm replacing it with a gadget that helps him in a way that he really needs, which is giving him an attack speed boost. So rather than like Bonnie's gadget where it gives her movement speed and whatnot for a few seconds, this one just lets him swing his hammer down faster. So if somebody's trying to CC chain you, you might actually be able to hit them while they're blasting you away. You know? Now, it really depends on how much faster they would make his hammer swing, because having it too fast would be broken. I mean, he would still run out of ammo, but if he could just go like bop, 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 you know, that would be broken. However, I would assume that this would also increase his super swing speed. So I'm gonna give it like 30% faster for every attack. So like his hammer swing and then his super swing as well, 30% faster all around for like, what, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. But I actually think that this gadget would be fun because you would use it kind of like a hypercharge to go aggro for a few seconds and then probably fall back once it's over, or maybe you wipe them out, who knows. But like, it's a thing where you only have a couple uses for it per game, but if you use it at the wrong time, you're wasting it. And it also doesn't give you like a movement boost, so you got to use it when you're ready to attack somebody, you know? Let me know what you think about this. I think it would be very fun. And again, we're giving him good stuff because this brawler sucks. Remember, if he ends up being OP from this, you just nerf the numbers from here. But at least now he'll be less fundamentally horrible, I think. And moving on to the other gadget, I think at this point, the one that pulls people would need a damage nerf, because right now, I think it like doubles your damage or something. Like, you can literally obliterate people in one hit with this gadget. So yeah, I think it would be fair to probably make it a little bit worse. This was another one of their ways of trying to make Frank better by just buffing his numbers like crazy, but that doesn't fix a brawler who's fundamentally horrible. So now that he's becoming better overall, I would say that this would probably get a big damage nerf, but it would still either pull people in, which could be good, or I had a thought that maybe instead of pulling people in, because sometimes you might like accidentally pull a Shelly or something, or you pull somebody in and then they start dodging you because they can go behind you. Like, sometimes that actually doesn't help at all, besides the damage, of course, that's crazy. But instead of a pull, I was thinking it could be a lift, like what the Gale Tornado does to you, or Draco's new gadget. You know how that lifts you up? It would basically be a ripoff of Draco's gadget, but larger because it's Frank. But the pull is still fine. That was just an idea that I had. Now, this one might overall be worse than the other one at the same time, as long as it still has the damage bonus and it's stunning somebody technically. I think that would make them both pretty viable. It would just really depend on the matchup. And that's what I like about things like this, is like, I'm trying to make a lot of these things based on the matchup. So you would probably take this star power, the one that makes the bar come back faster, if the enemies have a lot of crowd control. And assuming that both of them are balanced, then you would take this one when the enemies aren't going to be pushing you around as much. Therefore, you don't need the bar to come back super quickly. That's just my idea. I just think it would be fun. Moving on to Frank's base stats. As you can see right here, I am just saying that I don't think that much of his base stats should even be changed. Like, maybe if he's too broken, then they should nerf some stuff. Again, this brawler has been horrible for 4 years. I think that he deserves some time in the spotlight. So even if these things make him broken, just give him like a week in the spotlight and then start tweaking some numbers. My whole idea here is that all of these things can be nerfed numerically. You can just lower the numbers of everything, raise how long it takes the bar to come back, lower how long you're invincible for, lower the speed of the hammer swing thing, or, you know, lower the damage boost of this, lower the speed boost of this. A lot of these numbers can just be tweaked. So if things are too strong or too weak, just change the number. But that's not really what you can do with Frank currently. You can't really fix this guy unless you rework him. And my idea here is, like, if the brawler is still horrible, then either give him a very fast movement speed, or give him a slight range buff, or make his hammer speed slightly faster in general. Even with all these changes, the brawler could still fundamentally be bad, but I don't think it would be nearly as bad as he currently is, especially if you don't have a star power or something, because at least with this, you still have the anti-CC bar in his base kit, kind of like Mortis Coiled Snake. That didn't used to be in his base kit, but now it is. So with this being on him, even if you don't have his gadgets or star powers, I think in general that'll be pretty useful. And I feel like the star powers and gadgets also give you a decent choice of what you want to do. Because like I said before, this one, if you have a lot of enemies who might be trying to push you around, you put this one on. It makes your bar come back faster. And then this star power is for like most other scenarios, I would say. And then this gadget that makes you attack faster is just useful if you're really good as Frank and you have a situation where you want to pop this and you want to go crazy. If he gets a hypercharge, this might be a broken combo. I don't know what they would do at that point. Probably just nerf the numbers. Because again, remember, we're not even thinking about him getting a hypercharge in this whole concept. You don't know what they're going to do with this hypercharge, man. Alternatively, this gadget is just like extra damage to your attack. So if you want to finish somebody off, boom, the extra damage will probably help. Even if it's nerfed, it's still probably a lot of extra damage. And then also you're stunning them in some way, whether you're pulling them, launching them, who really knows? But yeah, that is my Frank rework concept. Let me know what you think. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.